Halvar, God of Battle. White, white, 2 other for a legendary creature god, 4/4. Creatures you control that are enchanted or equipped have double strike. At the beginning of each combat, you may attach target aura or equipment attached to a creature you control to target creature you control. Sword of the Realms. 1 white, 1 other. Legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has vigilance. Whenever equipped creature dies, return it to its owner's hand. Equip is 1 white and 1 other. This is the same card, y'all. We've got an equipment out of the command zone. Let's talk about Halvar, God of Battle, and his legendary Sword of the Realms. And the video starts right now. Special thanks to our Patreon supporters who power our channel. Check out our Patreon for monthly giveaways, exclusive content, and even a starring role in our fan fight series. Link in the description below.
For a limited time only, if you join the Patreon at any level, you will receive a holographic Jake and Joel Are Magic logo sticker. Link in the description below.
Hello and welcome to the day. Thank you for spending your time with us. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. I am Joel. We're going to talk about a new commander from Kaldheim, Halvar, God of Battle, and the sword that he carries on his back. But before we do, if you would, go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you like the video by the end of it. Let's get into this commander. So this one is pretty wild. I looked at this card the first time and was just like, okay, what? Hang on, wait, what's going on here? Halvar, God of Battle. We have got a legendary god that is going to give the passive ability of creatures you control that are equipped or enchanted having double strike, and you can move auras and equipments around at the beginning of each combat. One from one creature you control to another creature you control. Now, we also have access to the flip side of Halvar, which is Sword of the Realms, an equipment that can be cast out of the command zone that's going to give a creature +2/+0 in vigilance, but when the equipped creature dies, we're going to return it to our hand instead of it dying. That is huge for an attacking deck. Any creature that has ETBs, we're going to get more advantage out of. We're going to get to keep whatever creatures we are playing in our deck and equipping with Sword of the Realms. And also, I would be remiss if I did not show off this sweet showcase art of Halvar, God of Battle, and also Halvar's Sword of the Realms. I want to talk about what cards would be good in a mono white commander deck with Halvar, God of Battle at the helm of, and then I want to talk about some commanders that I think Halvar would be great in the 99 of. Let's get into this commander. So when I start thinking of Halvar and I'm looking at the abilities, creatures you control that are enchanted or equipped have double strike, obviously my mind first goes to cards like Core Spirit Dancer. 1 white, 1 other, 0/2. It gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it, and it has an enchantress effect of whenever you cast an aura spell, you may draw a card. This is fantastic in this deck. Obviously, this sort of build, and I think the mono white build of, Core Spirit Dancer version is going to be very, very aura focused. We're going to focus on creature enchantments that come in, they go on to our creatures. If Core Spirit Dancer is out there, or cards like SRAM are out there, whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card, you're going to be filling your hand back up whenever you cast these things. Halvar is going to passively give any creatures you control that are enchanted, so have an aura on them, double strike, and you can move your aura and equipment around however you would like, at least one of them, however you would like, at the beginning of each combat. So I think Core Spirit Dancer and SRAM are obviously a super way to go, but the card on the back of our commander is a sword, so we can also look at equipment as a viable strategy. Run cards like Danitha Capuchin, Paragon, 1 white, 2 other, 2/2 Human Knight, First Strike, Vigi, Lifelink, words. Aura and equipment spells you cast are 1 less to cast. So the first cast on our sword is 1 mana, 1 white mana, and an equip of 2. And then our subsequent recasts are, the tax is lowered by cards like Danitha. That's a pretty excellent ability, and there's multiple cards that allow stuff like this. We also can have effects like Pure Steel Paladin, 2 white, 2/2. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. Just Pure Steel Paladin on the battlefield, and you play your Sword of the Realms out of the command zone, you're going to get to draw a card. And as long as you have 3 or more artifacts on the battlefield, which with an enchantment, with an equipment deck that's also mono white, you're going to have mana rocks, you're going to have an equipment. Getting 3 artifacts on the battlefield shouldn't be a huge problem for this deck. Your equipment are going to equip for free if Pure Steel Paladin is on the battlefield, and you've got the Metalcraft satisfied. Now, I was talking about Sword of the Realms. Equipped creature dies and returns to your hand. How about Sun Titan being equipped with Sword of the Realms, dying and returning to your hand? That's pretty insane, because any permanents then that are in your graveyard, you're going to get to return to your hand if it's CMC 3 or less. We're going to get that effect over and over again. We already get it on the ETB and on the attack, but if they kill it, it comes back, we replay it, return Danitha to our hand. Yeah, I'm pretty into that. But honestly, the biggest interaction that I found so far with Sword of the Realms is Karmic Guide. Play Karmic Guide, equip Sword of the Realms. Whenever the equipped creature dies, return it to its owner's hand. Karmic Guide says whenever it enters a battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Whoops, did we just find a wombo combo? Karmic Guide ETBs, we return target creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. We equip Sword of the Realms. At the beginning of your upkeep, we choose not to pay the echo cost. It comes back to our hand. Bang, bang, boom. We're doing it again. Karmic Guide with Sword of the Realms. I am super here for this interaction. Those are my instant speed reactions looking at Halvar, God of Battle as a commander. I really am in love with this flip card that is a creature and an equipment. I love this. I love that we are going to hopefully keep seeing these. In Zendikar, we got modal DFCs that were lands with a spell or a creature on the other side. With this one, we're getting a creature that is an equipment on the other side, and I think that opens up a lot of possibilities. I don't think we're done finding interactions like Karmic Guide with Sword of the Realms. I'm pretty sure that we are going to find some very powerful stuff for a color that, let's face it, is not that great as a mono-colored commander deck. Because mono white normally doesn't stand on its own as a solo running color in EDH, I went ahead and looked at 2 commanders that I think this as a card in the 99 has a lot of potential, and I think Halvar, God of Battle obviously goes fantastic in a Tuvasa the Sunlit. 1 blue, 1 white, 1 green, 1/1 Merfolk Shaman, gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control, and whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, draw a card. So you're focused on auras obviously, but we can also focus on basic enchantments as well that do a lot of stuff. Look at Finest Hour, a blue, a white, a green, 2 other. It's got Exalted, which means whenever a creature you control that attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn, which normally isn't that consequential, but when Halvar is giving an aura'd up creature double strike, suddenly every little +1/+1 is counting towards a much bigger attack. And with Finest Hour, whenever a creature you control attacks alone, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap that creature. After the phase, there's an additional combat phase. So we're getting more attacks from a creature that's going to reward us for putting auras on creatures, and the Tuvasa is going to be cantripping those enchantments, auras, when any enchantments or auras really when they come into the battlefield. Speaking of auras, if we're playing blue as a commander color, we can run Octopus Umbra. This is a big silly enchantment. 2 blue, 3 other enchantment creature. It has base power and toughness 8/8, y'all, and Halvar on the battlefield 8/8 double striker. Yeah, that's pretty good. Whenever this creature attacks, you can tap target creature with power 8 or less, and it's got totem armor. I love this card. I love all of the totem armors regardless, but Octopus Umbra in and of itself is really silly, and I'm super into it. You can run that if you're running Tuvasa and you've got Halvar in the 99. Now we've got other options as well. One of my personal favorite commanders, this was the first commander I ever built when I started playing it back when it was called EDH. Uril the Mist Stalker, a white, a green, a red, 2 other, 5/5, can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control, and it gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it. Now, Uril the Mist Stalker is a Voltron commander most often. Voltron commanders have a weakness of sacrifice abilities because normally they'll be the only creature on the battlefield. That and board wipes. Honestly, you've suited up this Voltron commander, it's punching in, it's ready to start eliminating opponents, and somebody hits Wrath of God. But what you can do is cast Sword of the Realms, the back of Halvar, God of Battle, and it says whenever equipped creature dies, return it to its owner's hand. That means Uril, if they are our commander, we're not going to have to pay tax. We just get to recast Uril for 5 mana and start rebuilding our Voltron commander. Also, having Halvar on the battlefield in and of itself is really strong because it's going to give you a different target to sacrifice. When somebody forces you to possibly sacrifice your commander, you say, nope, I've got backups on the battlefield, which is something you really want to keep on the battlefield if you're going to play a Voltron commander. Now, if we're playing Uril, that means we got access to red, so we can play cards like Storm Herald, 1 red, 2 other, haste 3/2 shaman. Whenever it enters the battlefield, return any number of aura cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to creatures you control. Exile those auras at the beginning of the next end step. If those auras would leave the battlefield, exile them instead. So just make sure that you can't do some crazy infinite stuff with it. But this is a fantastic late game play. I was talking about Uril's been returned to your hand or board wiped, or Halvar, it's been board wiped. All of these, everything is dead. You've got your enchantments, auras, everything in the graveyard. Storm Herald hits, target the opponent with shields down, haste, all of the auras come back onto Storm Herald. It's late in the game, our graveyard is full, Storm Herald is happy, and suddenly your Uril deck is actually performing like Voltron decks haven't really performed lately. But if you've got access to red, you can also run Iroas, God of Victory, 1 white, 1 red, 2 other, 7/4 indestructible. It's not a creature if your devotion to red and white is less than 7, but it passively gives all creatures you control menace and prevents all damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control. I can't think of something that an attacking deck wants more than Iroas, God of Victory in the 99, right alongside Halvar, God of Battle. We are going to go into battle led by the God of Battle, and we are going to be led to victory by the God of Victory. That is my instant speed reaction to Halvar, God of Battle. Let's close the book. Thanks so much for watching. In the comments, let me know what you think of Halvar, God of Battle. I can't wait to start building this commander or start slotting it into the 99 of other commanders. On your way out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm tapped out, and I'll catch you later.